Hi all, I am Jasmin, Assistant Professor, Department of Human Resource Management, MBS College, Marampally.
Dear students, today we'll deal with the fifth module of Strategic Human Resource Management, that is Global Environment of HR. Before we start with, we'll just recall the definition of SHRM. Strategic HRM is an approach that defines how the organization's goal will be achieved through people by means of HR strategies and integrated HR policies and practices. Thus, the concern of SHRM is to ensure that human resource management is fully integrated with the strategy and the strategic needs of the firm. HR policies cohere both across policy areas and across hierarchies, and HR practices are adjusted, accepted, and used by line managers and employees as part of their everyday work. International or global HRM. International human resource management is the process of procuring, allocating, and effectively utilizing the human resources in a multinational corporation or in at least 3 countries. HR managers in these organizations have to integrate HR policies and practices across a number of subsidiaries spread in several countries so that the organization's goals can be achieved. At the same time, they have to make these policies and practices sufficiently flexible to allow significant differences in the policies in different countries. International HRM is concerned with identifying and understanding how the MNCs manage the geographically dispersed workforce in order to leverage their HR resources for obtaining local as well as global competitive advantage. Next, the difference between global HRM and domestic HRM. International human resource management is the process of procuring, allocating, and effectively utilizing the human resources in a multinational corporation or in at least 3 countries, whereas domestic HRM is the process of procuring, allocating, and effectively utilizing the human resources in local countries. And IHRM operates beyond national borders while domestic HRM operate within the borders. IHRM have more functions and are subject to more stringent international rules and are more exposed to a wider array of activities as opposed to domestic HRMs. In IHRM, there's constant change for a broader set of perspectives. In IHRM, there's more attention given to the associate or expatriate employee's personal well-being. Now, the challenges of human resource management in the global environment. First one is globalization. Growing internationalization of business has its impact on HRM in terms of problems of unfamiliar laws, languages, practices, competitions, attitudes, management styles, work ethics, and more. HR managers have a challenge to deal with more heterogeneous functions and more involvement in employees' personal life. Second one, new organizational forms. The basic challenge to HRM comes from the changing character of competitions. Major companies are operating through a complex web of strategic alliances, forgings with local suppliers, etc. These relationships give rise to new forms of organizational structure which highly depend upon a regular exchange of people and information. The challenge for HRM is to cope with the implications of these newly networked relations more and more in place of more comfortable hierarchical relationship that existed within the organization in the past. Third one, corporate reorganizations. Reorganizations relates to mergers and acquisitions, joint ventures, takeover, internal restructuring of organizations, etc. It is the challenge to manage employees' anxiety, uncertainties, insecurities, and fears during these dynamic trends. Fourth challenge, changing demographics of workforce. Changes in workforce are largely reflected by dual career couples, large chunk of young blood, age-old superannuating employees, working mothers, more educated and aware workers, etc. These dynamic workforce have their own implications for HR managers, and from HR point of view, it is a true challenge to handle. Fifth challenge, changed employee expectations. With the change in workforce demographics, employee expectations and attitudes have also transformed. Traditional elements like job security, house and remunerations are not much attractive today. Rather, employees are demanding empowerment and equality with management. Hence, it is a challenge for HRM to redesign the profile of workers and discover new methods of hiring, training, remunerating, and motivating employees. Sixth challenge, new industrial relations approach. In today's dynamic world, strikes and militancy have lost their relevance. The trade union membership has fallen drastically worldwide and the future of labor movement is in danger. The challenge before HRM is to adopt a proactive industrial relations approach which should enable HR specialists to look into challenges including unfolding in the future and to be prepared to convert them into opportunities. Renewed people focus. The need of today's world and business is the people's approach, the structure, strategy, systems approach, etc., which worked in the post war era is no more relevant in today's economic environment, which is characterized by new capacities and intense competition. The challenge of HR manager is to focus on people and make them justifiable and sustainable. Eighth challenge, managing the managers. Managers usually demand decision making, bossism, and operational freedom. However, in the post liberalization era, freedom given to managers is grossly misused to get rid of talented and hardworking juniors. The challenge of HRM is how to manage this tribe, how to make them realize that the freedom given to them is to enable them make quick decisions in the interest of the organization and not to resort to witch hunting. Ninth challenge, weaker society interests. Another challenge for HRM is to protect the interest of weaker sections of society. The dramatic increase of women workers, minorities, and other backward communities in the workforce has resulted in the need for organizations to re examine their policies, practices, and values. In the name of global competition, productivity, and quality, the interests of the society around should not be sacrificed. It's a challenge for today's HR managers to see that these weaker sections are neither denied the rightful jobs nor are discriminated against while in service. 10th challenge, contribution to the success of organizations. The biggest challenge to an HR manager is to make all employees contribute to the success of the organization in an ethical and socially responsible way because society's well being to a large extent depends on its organizations. Next part, cross-culture management in global HRM. Cross-culture management definition. Cross-culture management happens when a manager oversees employees from a culture other than her or his own, or when employees on a team are from different countries as well. For cross-culture management to be effective, the manager must identify and acknowledge the differences in cultures, practices, and preferences of the team members. Managers also need to be able to modify or adapt certain business processes or systems, such as the way the information is communicated or how the decisions are made in order to improve the efficacy of the workforce. Common cross-culture barriers. First one, communication. Communication is a major barrier between different cultures. This can come in the form of a language barrier, where some team members aren't fluent in the language in which the business is conducted, leading to longer time for communication of ideas, misinterpretation of messages, not taking messages seriously because of lower level of language skills, difference in styles of communications, etc. For example, many Western cultures value direct to the point speech, where Eastern cultures are used to more indirect speech patterns. This mismatch of communication styles can lead to confusion where team members don't understand what is being said. Organizational structure vary from company to company. When working with cultures that view authority differently, the way the organization is structured can cause problems. Some employees may not feel comfortable bringing up ideas that don't agree with the managers, while others may do so but make a grave cultural mistake. Next, decision making style. Conflicts between the manager and an employee or between two employees can arise if one makes decisions analytically and the other instinctively. Similarly, some employees may make decisions quickly while others take their time. This can cause friction between team members. If the barriers between cultures are not dealt with effectively by management, they can slow down daily tasks, affect team relationships, and derail large business initiatives. Next strategy, adaptation. Strategies for cross culture management. First one, adaptation. Ignoring cultural differences or understanding their importance can be harmful. Instead, it's imperative to acknowledge cultural gaps that may exist on the team and figure out ways to work around them. A manager needs to be able to think of creative solutions to cultural barriers. For example, if an employee is facing a language barrier, instead of requiring the employee to take formal language lessons, which can be costly and time consuming, the manager may spend some time one on one with the employee to get him up to speed on specific business terms used every day in the office. Next, structural intervention. This includes reassigning tasks or move employees around the team in order to improve efficiency, increase learning opportunities, and reduce confusion. To do this effectively, the manager must be in tune to each team member's skills and experience and understand their strengths and weaknesses. When trying to navigate a language barrier, the manager might pair the employee with another employee who excels in teaching and communication and has endless amounts of patience. Next strategy, managerial intervention. This involves setting specific ground